This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
Joining us, these two amazing presenters will give you a speech on Azure and Power Platform, toxic relationship or successful partnership. Magdalena czkowska and Mateusz Osin joining us. Please give them a warm welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me? It's okay. Okay. So it's nice to be here, and I am very surprised that we actually managed to be in here together. So at first, I would like to ask you at the beginning, who already works with Dynamics 365? Okay. Couple of persons, okay. And who works already with Power Platform? Okay, couple of people. It's nice. And who works with Azure? Yay! Okay, good to know that you combine those skills that we need to speak to people who understand our topics. Okay, so maybe we'll start why we are in here, because we try to speak about our work, not only, of course. We work to Netwise, excellence in CRM and Power Platform solution. So about 2 months, and Mateusz,
almost 8 years.
Yes.
So yeah, that's great to be here and show you like the difficulties that we encounter when implementing the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 solutions with the usage of Azure, and how greatly we can benefit also from those solutions. So let me introduce Magda. We heard about her already, but in short, Magda, she's a Microsoft MVP in the business apps area, and she calls herself Power Girl. So she will,
this is my nickname.
Yeah, talk a bit, let's say, in a good light regarding the Power Platform, and I'll be the one that sometimes will like hate it.
Yeah, and Mateusz, he's an advanced person with this technology. He's working about 8 years with custom service, with omnichannels, Dynamics 365, and of course with Base, which all is based on Power Platform. So he's an advanced person as a tech leader and as a developer and consultant.
Yeah, and you may ask a question why we are here talking about the Power Platform and Dynamics on the Azure-centric conference. That's, let's say, for us pretty obvious, because those two topics cannot live without themselves. So they are strongly connected. Whole Power Platform and Dynamics is built on top of the Azure. We're using the Azure components at a daily basis when implementing the solutions for the customer. So that's the thing that we commonly use. We need to be advanced in this area and this area. So as you will see, there are parts of the Azure that you can use in Dynamics or the Power Platform to extend it, to gain more possibilities as an IT people, to encourage business to implement that and use that, and not use out-of-the-box or low-code solutions.
Yeah, and because we talk about Power Platform mainly, we will talk about it because all is integrated with Azure. And it's not only one side project. We already know those kind of scenarios that business take Power Platform and build a lot of solutions and then migrate the data and choose different other solutions from Azure to manage with complicated scenario. So right now we can, of course, build like fusion teams which will build solutions based on those ecosystems. Run on Azure infrastructure, connect with Azure Function, AP management, and Service Bus and AI service, and others, of course, and integrate with Azure tools like Entra ID, who already work with Entra ID. I hope
everyone.
Almost everyone in here. So yeah, you know this one. And of course, using application insight. And we know that sometimes people think that this is low code and pro code. Actually, right now we are merging those two environments, this area. This is low code and pro code approach.
Yeah, and please remember, even if you're advanced at Azure, business loves the Power Platform, usually, wants to use the solutions built on top of that. So business is usually the ones that generate money for the company. So probably they will have a stronger negotiation power to use the components or apps that are provided by the Power Platform or Dynamics. So as we already introduced the topic, as you can see, there are broad areas of the apps inside of the Dynamics Power Platform that we're using on a daily basis, business is using, and all of it is on top of the Azure, but we cannot forget about the more advanced solutions. So we also show you how some things can be done using the out-of-the-box solutions or some low-code solutions, but also when it's better to go with the advanced ones to not waste time and your energy and be frustrated about some limitations in a thing that Microsoft offers you out of the box.
Yeah, because there is a lot of limitation, and we have to remember about this one.
Yeah, great thing with Entra is that because it's all about the Azure and the identity management, so you can control the access to the environments inside of the Power Platform, access to the apps that are inside the environment on the Power Platform from the Entra level. You can also apply the conditional access. So, for example, in one of our cases, I was abroad doing some vacation or workation in this case, and I was blocked from the company customers' company resources because I was abroad and not in Poland, so I was restricted and my account was blocked. So you can do that also with Dynamics with the usage of Entra ID and the conditional access. So it's great to have it in place. But also, what is even better, you can use the Azure Entra ID groups to control access inside of the Dynamics. So on the, let's say, security role level. So you can define based on security groups or groups in Entra ID the security roles for the users inside of the Dynamics. So it's easier to govern on the Azure level. So IT team will handle that, not bother the business about that, and also do not give the business control about it. So it's, let's say, more secure to control that on a central level, on the Azure level, which security roles, which permissions user have inside of the Dynamics on the Azure level. But there are some limitations regarding that. So it is done on the team level. So some functionalities, mainly newly introduced ones, sometimes focus on the direct association with a security role. So even if you assign a role to the team and some users will have enough permissions to do something, some controls in a system will display an error that there is a, let's say, direct association with role needed. So in this occasion, we need to somehow find some workaround for that and develop some custom. And also one thing that is missing here, user appears inside of the Dynamics only when he tries to log in. So we'll not see users that will not try to log in before. So that's the disadvantage of that. But except of that, that's a great place to control accessibility and security of our data inside of the Dynamics.
And I would like to add that, if, for example, your user will not see some columns, some entities, if they do not have permissions based on security rules or on the teams. So that is the simple example how we can use those restrictions.
Yeah, that's great. And also when it comes to security, Microsoft recently introduced something called managed environments. So that's the thing that gives the Power Platform environments more enterprise touch. So they introduced a lot of features, but one of them is the virtual network integration, so VNets. So that's great because they finally introduced that, because mainly in the projects that were regarding the banking on or other heavily regulated industries, we have the issues that Power Platform as a software as a service solution was had this limitation that we needed to connect it with it through the public internet. So even the company, let's say other provider of the company's Azure resources, created the app services, created the other like the service bus components, but we can't connect to that because of that. So that's a great change here, because we do not need to provide the gaps in a fence in our security restrictions, in this case in the banking industry, to properly use the not only the plugins as described here in a Dataverse, but also use this in the Power Automate flows and other low-code components in a solution. So that's a great benefit to use that to properly secure our system and not provide those gaps in a security, because some SaaS solution has some limitation that the IT needs to somehow omit.
Yeah, and we didn't have to build another workaround, like custom workarounds, which is another cost for the clients. We can use the solution which right now is out of the box for the client. And a lot of industry are interested for this kind of approach, because they need security internet in their web.
Yeah, and the next thing, application insights. That sounds pretty obvious for you as a Azure specialist, but none for the Power Platform or Dynamics world.
Let's ask, Mateusz, who already worked with App Insights from you? Okay, not everyone. You see?
Yeah. Okay. So I thought that would be obvious, as any app should, for me, has this applied, but that wasn't the case in the Power Platform world. You needed to go into Power Platform admin panel to check for the exceptions, to check for the performance. And now you can export the data into, or the telemetry data into the App Insights to control it. So Azure team or IT team will not have this feeling about losing control about SaaS solution, which in most of the cases is crucial in the organization, because CRMs and Dynamics finance operations, so any ERP, is crucial for the business to properly function. So we will have the data about the system performance. You will see all of the exceptions and all of the data that you need to control the behavior of the system. So because of that, you can configure that right now. So it exists in a system for around half a year right now. So you can export that telemetry into the App Insights and benefit from the App Insights features. So you can use the alerts. So previously, there wasn't a case. So right now, when your plugin will throw exception like 100K times in a day, you will see that, and you will notice that something is wrong with your environment. So that's really great to have it, to be informed about something is going wrong with your system.
I would like to add in here something, because if you work with Power Platform, you know that those tools are, for example, for the business scenario. We are not managing, usually, we are not managing thousands, hundreds of items with Power Platform tools or automatization. But if we go with CRM and Dynamics, we will. So that kind of monitoring is needed for just our work day by day, for the like a Power Platform users as well, because we have to combine alerts, we have to combine the knowledge of performance for the business to know how much they spend, what is not working, and because from Power Platform side, that kind of solution are not very open, user friendly. It's great to see that App Insight is open to use it and to know better how it works.
Yeah, and usually you can hear from the Dynamics users that system works slow. So now you can find out why. So
exactly.
Yeah, usually you can you can track what is going on and go into even the detail of certain scripts loading on a form in a model-driven app. Yeah, so you can see this performance metrics, you can see the errors that you'll encounter in your application. Yeah, as I said, that's pretty obvious for the custom apps, but for Dynamics and Power Platform, not. And also, Magda will tell you a bit about the low-code solutions, mainly Power Automate, and how we can use the app insights for that.
Yeah, sometimes a business buying a lot of license for the users, but they are asking then administration, okay, I'm buying, I am paying for them. Who is working with what, and who is using what? And when we were working on governance, for example, with Power Platform, we didn't have like a straight answer for that kind of situation, for that kind of questions. So right now, when we can work with App Insight, we can we can filter by the user this information about flows, about usage of the, about time of spending on different places on application. So yeah, right now we have the full tools to give to the stakeholders correct data.
Yeah, and please remember, it's easier for you to manage licenses and try to do that instead of turning on the pay-as-you-go on the Power Platform, because business users are like throwing money like crazy and spending it on unnecessary things, and they are usually ineffective, making stupid loops in the Power Automate flows. So it's better to use that and control them. Okay, next what we have, the platform extensibility. So yeah, so go on.
So this is the topic which can be kind of long times. We would talk about it about a couple of days actually. So we just provide you a couple of summary information about this.
Yeah, exactly. Because salespeople will tell you that everything is out of the box. You can just buy the license and use it. No. Usually you will need some extensions to the system to do some custom logic, some custom calculations for the customer. So those are the options that you can use. You can use local plugins, traditional C# plugins, or you can use webhooks, service endpoints, and custom APIs to communicate with the external systems. So usually you can use the service bus to propagate the messages from the Dynamics into other systems. So that's great to have it. That's great to have such possibilities. And you can use that, for example, to send the data about some change in Dynamics to the MDM system, or send some push notification about record change. So you can use that depending on the scenario. You will use different tools, from the low-code ones as Power Platform to the more advanced like Service Bus and Azure Functions, but system is capable of extensibility here, and we'll talk a bit more in details about how to do that and which option to choose in certain scenarios.
Yes, but the business logic, when we start to work with Power Platform and Dynamics, we usually go with Power Automate. And that is the first approach that we are just using our automatization, because it's low code, it's for the business users, it's based on like a simple UI, it's like building the blocks. And we prepared this table because we didn't know how to answer and to have arguments to explain to the business, to the stakeholders, sometimes the performance and the pros and cons. But what do you need to know from the like a business scenario is that when you are triggering the events or actions from the Power Automate, you are working with like buttons, like schedule flows, like automatization from M365, or maybe HTTP. But when you're working with the Azure Logic Apps or Azure Function, that is more complicated. But in Power Automate, I will go back a little bit. I will just say this one. I will skip to another screen. The connectors you have There are available 1,400 connectors. Why I am stepping to this topic, why this is so important to me, because you don't have to go and pre-build custom connectors from for your need. There is a lot of them. So you already have like a solution that you can find from the drop-down, from the list, your connector, manage your ATL, different transformation, and do what you need to do with your data. So this is kind of awesome to work with that kind of advanced already connectors. And then when you go for the other screen, it's needed to know that, of course, it's easy to use it. It's more business friendly. It's more user friendly, but you need to know that it's slower. Power Automate is just slower. I always talk to my friends which are more advanced developers. Okay, Magdalena, it's working too long. I cannot handle it. I talk to them, okay, it's long. So if you need something faster, go with PowerShell. But right now, of course, you can go ahead and use Azure Logic Apps or Azure Function.
Yeah, so from my experience, let's forget about the Logic Apps. There are strange Frankenstein built on top of the Azure to allow business users to construct their own flows. So rather skip that. Focus on Power Automate for the business user, for the quick scenarios that you don't want to get bothered by them and waste your time. Yeah, let them do some of the logic, but with a proper DLP configure, because like it will take them a week to expose your company data into public with anonymous access. So yeah, configure that properly and allow business to configure Power Automate and focus on the Azure functions when extending the system. So that's my thought about those options. So yeah, that's good to have the pre-built connectors. Yeah, you can earn some time by that. So yeah, allow the business to use that with proper security, but stick to Azure functions when it comes to any, let's say, more advanced or enterprise scenario. And when talking about the Power Platform, the topic that I hate, Canvas apps.
And I loved, because I'm Power Apps user, Power Apps developer from mainly front end. Okay, Canvas apps and Azure likes each other in business scenario when we have to pass some kind of data, for example, to block storage. Why we are doing this scenario and why we are using Canvas app for this scenario is because, for example, sometimes when we need to store the data on database, they are too heavy for it and they are too expensive. And when the business needed the data too much, I don't know how to say, when they need a lot of data stored somewhere, we prefer to advise them, okay, let's go with block storage, and we can just push the data, for example, from Canvas apps. We can embed Canvas app in model-driven, we can use Canvas app standalone, and with this scenario, we can just push the data to block storage, and we can just pay very a little.
Yeah, that's why I hate it, because playing with that is like a nightmare, and learning PowerFX brings me the memories about the
Excel.
Yeah, the Excel formulas. And the only case that I like is that for one of the customers, we needed to provide some extra logic that needed to be handled outside of the dynamics because of the complexity. And previously on the previous version of the system, because that was the migration of the 2011 Dynamics into the cloud, they had like a custom web pages hosted on their environment, embedded into the system. So it was quicker, better to create simple Canvas apps, embed them into the model-driven apps in Dynamics, because the security was there. We didn't needed to bother about that. And also, yeah, the styling and the feel of that is the same as the rest of the platform. So we didn't need to spend the time to adjust that to the customer needs.
And because it was not time consuming, it cost less, just cost less.
Yeah, yeah. And the next topic, so probably the one that we need to focus on, but yeah,
Those days.
based on the latest Microsoft layouts, probably not. But let's focus on the scenarios that we use Azure AI, or let's say low-code version of the Azure AI Builder in this case. So mainly we have two scenarios that we focus on with the customers, with the enterprises. So it's the document intelligence. So we use the Power Platform AI Builder for that in a simple cases to scan the documents, to do this recognition. So real life example, customer had like some old solution that hosted on premise that was capable of, to not lead you into mistake, 15% of the documents in a company right now, straight out of the box, just selecting the fields on a documents because there were structured documents, we were able to get 80% of the documents scanned automatically without of the human interaction. So that's great.
And because it was done by Azure AI Document Intelligence, it was a little bit cheaper and it was faster.
Yeah, mainly cheaper because in Power Platform AI Builder, you need to buy capacity add-ons.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. Still, you need to buy million tokens, not less, if you need to scan like 500.
And this is for sure cons for Power Platform that is cost more. But you have to remember when the user are using the Power Platform, they're not very advanced. They usually do not know what is Azure. They usually do not know how to build it. And for sure, they usually do not have permissions to governance, to admin tools. So that's why they are using AI Builder, and of course it's easier to use it from the business scenario.
Yeah.
But when we have that kind of amount of data, we are going to Azure.
Yeah, so as Magda said, it's easier for the users to allow them to do that because they are already pre-built AI Builder connectors inside of the Power Platform. But with the Azure AI, you need to do a HTTP request, and business is scary about that they see some strange URLs.
Yeah.
And the next solution is the AI search and whole, let's say, copilots and Azure bots topic. So Magda will tell you about the Copilot Studio part, and me, I will introduce you the bot framework.
The situation that we across some time ago, we did a Copilot Studio for our clients, but we managed the situation that was like take long time to upload data or search something, and we was trying to look something like more with better performance, and that's why we start using AI search to just try to discover which will be better, and it seems it's like 11 times better or maybe faster. So I am leaving you for this to develop by your own. Maybe you will find something for yourself, because we all impact by agent building. So for sure, if you want to build something more advanced, go ahead and try to research with this solution with AI search, for sure.
Yeah, so Copilot Studio is for the low-code users. So you have this UI drag and drop almost solution to configure that. For more advanced developers. Bot framework, they can cooperate with each other because you can register the skills, so extension of the Copilot bot. You can use the bot framework as a skill for the Copilot bot and vice versa. So you can benefit from both solutions, but you can focus on one of those, depends on the needs. I would stay with the bot framework for the advanced scenarios, except the thing that, it's easier to introduce that, and that's the, let's say, native way of building the bots in the area that I'm specialized with, so the Dynamics 365 contact center. So it's easier for the business user to, for example,
prepare the solution.
Build the Copilot Studio bot for the chat or for the telephony with the usage of Copilot Studio, not to engage the IT team to build them the bot framework bot on Azure.
And a second time, not many users have access to Azure solutions. So,
yeah. It brings the difficulties to configure the access properly. So it's better sometimes to go with the low code.
And summary.
Summary of that. So you see that there are low code solutions for some of the issues. There are enterprise ones, and that brings me some contradictions because Microsoft is advertising the Power Platform as a low-code solution for the business users to create solutions by themselves. And on the other hand, it advertised that as a solution to use in the enterprise companies to bring like hundreds of thousands of users inside of that to start working there. And there is a question from me regarding that. That's Kanye West. Is the Power Platform enterprise or not? So probably Microsoft has this like bipolar problem about like the identity of the solution that they're providing to the users. So I will leave you with the question, is it low code or is it enterprise?
Yeah. And I would add one more thing. So if we want to manage with people who trying to solve their problems from the for the automatization day-by-day work, they for sure go with Power Platform, but they will have less privileges. So I assume that after a couple of steps, they will go ahead and try to different solution from Azure. But there will be a problem with privileges, with access, of course. But I think that is like a typical way that you take something simple and you find something for yourself, and then you want to bring to the business better solution, more efficient. So then you are going with those solutions merged with Azure. That's what I'm trying to leave from this presentation.
Yeah. And that's the perfect moment for a Q&A session.
Yes. And of course, I will add one more. We can tell to you thank you for this presentation. We can leave for this QR code if you want to find us, for example, in LinkedIn and contact some kind of way. But right now, if you have any questions, we are open to answer, of course, if we can. Don't be
Here,
shy.
ready with a microphone if you have any questions. But I don't see any hands in the air, so...
It was so bad?
No, I guess it was so full of... Okay, so we have one question.
Nobody asking. Magda, Mateusz, that's a great presentation. So the question is, how do you maneuver, how do you navigate between you two when there is a business case and you are kind of skewed, I mean, Magda, you are kind of skewed more towards the Power Platform and you towards Azure. So how do you fix that, because there is abundance of all those options, features and everything. So how do you pick the right one?
Actually, we have like a discussion with more advanced developers. And because I am based almost all the time on Power Platform, when the business scenario is like reaching to a more advanced solution, we are just doing a brainstorming and trying to do some kind of a solution in our developer environments. And I am asking that kind of person in my company. But yeah, that is the power of working with better than yourself and more advanced people, more advanced with different modules of Dynamics. But of course, no documentation, Microsoft, different approach. And because I am MVP, I am this huge privileges to contact with people around the world, and I'm trying to get to them because I am that kind of person who I'm not shy and I'm not afraid because come on, what can happen? Someone can tell to me, okay, you are not okay. That's fine. I'm always asking. I'm always looking for some help or from some knowledge.
Yeah, that's great that you can handle the hate to you. But yeah, so speaking from the experience of several different enterprise deployments, there are low-code solutions that of course, you get wisdom from the failures. We started to implement them and decided, yeah, if such situation happen, we'll use some more advanced solution. No, it brings a lot of issues to remember about that assumptions, to have this situation covered. So we decided in certain scenarios, for example, we do not use the Power Platform form business rules to hide some fields or do some logic, because they are extremely hard to maintain. And we as a Netwise have like almost 100 people that can develop. So we decided to go directly with the TypeScript scripts to handle that, not bother with the rules. Yeah, we can use that, but on really, really small projects that, yeah, we know that in, let's say, it's hard to predict, but in 1 or 2 years, nothing will happen with that will stay in this situation. But if we know that it is an enterprise solutions, it's not even worth to bother about some of the out-of-the-box solutions, and let's go full custom, or, yeah, in this case, full custom.
So the answer will be experience.
Okay, do we have any other questions? I don't think so. So thank you once again, Magdalena and Mateusz, for joining us during our event.